Hello, good day everyone. My name is Asoka Pascal Chukwemeka, and today we are going to be discussing practical dispensing. And this is coming to you from the National Fellowship of Christian Pharmacy Students, UNN chapter. I am the current academic coordinator of the fellowship. We are going to talk about suspension for this tutorial. Now, what are suspensions? Suspensions are liquid preparations that are meant for internal use. Suspensions are usually consist of active pharmaceutical ingredients, a vehicle, and a suspending agent. Now, it's important to note that not all suspensions require a suspending agent, all right? Because in making suspensions, preparation of suspensions, we have two types of APIs that are being used: readily diffusible APIs and non-readily diffusible APIs. Now, for readily diffusible APIs, we do not require a suspending agent because for these APIs, they are readily diffused or they are evenly distributed in the suspension. Meanwhile, for the non-readily diffusible powders, they are used in suspensions that they get sedimented in the container, right? So that's why we require a suspending agent to keep this API suspended in the suspension. Now we are going to give examples about readily diffusible APIs. Now, for readily diffusible APIs, we have heavy magnesium carbonate, light magnesium carbonate, we have magnesium trisilicates, and we also have many other examples. Now, for non-readily diffusible APIs, example there we have aspirin, acetyl salicylic acid, we have sulfothiazole, sulfonamides, and talol, etc. Now, today we are starting with this question, and this is a prescription, and it says acetyl salicylic acid 125 milligram, raspberry syrup 1 ml, amaranth solution 0.05 ml, and purified water to make up to 5 ml. Now, the direction is send 30 ml. And before we get to solving this, we have to get the multiplication factor. And multiplication factor, which is abbreviated as MF, give it to amount sent divided by amount given. Now, amount sent is 30 mil. We're asked to send 30 mil. 30 mil divided by 5 mil sent. It is going to give us 6. Now, you notice this multiplication factor does not have a unit because this mil will cancel out this mil, right? And this is our formula. So, to get our working formula, we need to multiply this multiplication factor by every of this thing here. And first of all, you see, like I told us before, that aspirin, acetyl salicylic acid, is a non-readily diffusible powder, and we will require a suspending agent for this preparation, right? So, examples of suspending agents, we have tragacant, we have compound tragacant, and we have many others too that you must have been familiar with. So, we are going to go by multiplying this, our multiplication factor, with every of these to get our working formula. Now, permit me to use abbreviation. Now we are dividing this by 1,000 so that we convert this milligram into gram. Now, when we divide this 125 by 1,000 and multiply it by 6, we will be getting 0.7 gram, 0.75 gram here. And this is 6 mil. Then this is 0.3 mil. And this is 30 mil, right? Now, this is the formula we are going to be working with. And permit me to clean this side of the board. All right, and this is our working formula. You know, from here, we now go to remember I told you about the suspending agent. So we are going to be using compound tragacant. Now, compound tragacant 2%. Now for this 2%, it means 2 grams of compound tragacanth in 100 ml, dissolved in 100 ml. Now the amount we were asked to send, remember it was 30 ml. Now we're now going to find how many grams are we going to use in a 30 ml suspension. Now when we cross multiply this, we have 2 multiplied by 30, which is 60, divided by 100. We have 0.6 gram of compound tragacanth. So we now see, now after this, these are working formula. This will define our procedures. From here, we now have to write our procedure for how this preparation was prepared. And first of all, what we'll do is starting from the compound tragacanth. So we'll now say that after an appropriate calculation was done, this is you now writing it in your procedure. After an appropriate calculation was done, 0.65 gram of compound tragacanth and 0.75 gram of aspirin was now weighed into a mortar and was now titurated till an homogeneous mixture was obtained. Then after, you now say that a little quantity of purified water was now added into the mortar to get a pourable paste. Then you now pour that pourable paste. I'm trying to explain this. This is not like the exact procedure. You can put it in your own words. You now put this pourable paste into a dispensing bottle. First of all, you tie your dispensing bottle at 30 ml so that you know the exact ml of the suspension you're having. You tie it at 30 ml. Then after that, you now 0.6 gram of compound tragacanth and 0.75 gram of aspirin is now weighed into a mortar and now titurated till a homogeneous mixture was obtained. Then you now say that a little quantity of water was added to make a pourable paste. This pourable paste is now being transferred into the dispensing bottle. Now, because this raspberry is a liquid and this amaranth solution is a liquid, and the reason we don't add it directly into the mortar and pestle is because now this raspberry syrup could stain the mortar and pestle. So these liquids are now weighed directly into the bottle. Then amaranth solution, 0.3 ml of amaranth solution is also weighed directly into the dispensing bottle. Then you now use water to make it up to the 30 ml. Remember that this 30 ml, you've already marked it in your dispensing bottle. So you now use this purified water to make it up to 30 ml in order to have your product. Then what you now write at the end of your procedure is that 30 ml of the preparation was prepared. 30 ml of the suspension was prepared, properly labeled and dispensed. Now after this, you're going to be needing to write your label, and the label is written as thus. Write the suspension and the amount that was asked to send, 30 ml. Now remember our original formula. We're writing the original formula, not this formula that we used here. Our original formula: acetyl salicylic acid. Now you write this in full during your exam. 125 milligram. Now, at the base of this here, you write the direction. Now, the direction is going to be written in Latin, which you'd have to interpret. I don't know if you remember for this question, I didn't write the direction, but let's say the direction is 5 ml to be taken as directed by the doctor before use, 5 ml to be taken before meal as Then after that, you write your name, your reg number, the address, which is usually the Department of Pharmaceutics, UNN, then the date the product was dispensed. Now, there's something we call auxiliary label. Auxiliary label is a direction for probably the safety of this product. And for this auxiliary label, it's a suspension. And remember, we told you that we use suspending agent for this because this acetyl salicylic acid is a non-readily diffusible powder. So even if we add suspending agent, at some point, the API will get to the bottom and get sedimented in the container. So what we write here is shake before use. Shake before use. Now, so far, this is for the suspension. The next question we have here, we are going to be talking about calamine lotion. Okay, to the next question. Remember, we've been talking about liquid preparations, but the two liquid preparations that we considered were liquid preparations for internal use. Now, to this liquid preparation, we're about preparing a solution of calamine lotion, right? So, but this preparation, the difference between that and this is that this preparation is for external use only, and this you don't need to use a suspending agent for this, right? So, look at this. You find out from what we've been doing recently, this direction is given to you directly. And like remember what I told you. And once you get to the exam hall, the first thing you should do is to write out your label. It will save you time. So write out your label and put direction here as noted. So for this question, we might not be writing the label for you. So you just do it to see that you're following what we've been doing so far. So let's get into the question. So the first thing we do, like we've known, is to get your multiplication factor, which is the amount sent over amount given. We're told to send 40 mil, and we're giving 100 mil. So 40 divided by 100 mil now give you 0.4. Remember again, multiplication factor has no unit. So with this, we try to get our working formula. So as a continuation, we've gotten our working formula. Now, what we did was to multiply our multiplication factor by the weight that was given to us and the weight and the meal that were given to us. So after we've done this, next thing is to remember this preparation is a lotion and we don't need a suspending agent for this because this is for an external use. So what we do after we've done this is to say that 3.2 gram of calamine and 3.2 gram of zinc oxide were weighed into a mortar and titrated evenly to an even mixture, to a homogeneous mixture was obtained. Then a little quantity of calcium hydroxide solution was then added into the mortar to give you a pourable paste, which was then transferred into your already tarred dispensing bottle, which should have been tarred at 40 ml, right? Into your already tarred dispensing bottle. Then a little quantity of calcium hydroxide solution was also poured into the mortar to rinse the mortar and was transferred into the dispensing bottle. Then 0.8 ml of glycerin was measured into the dispensing bottle, and also 10 ml of bentonite magma was also measured into the dispensing bottle and shaken a bit. Then calcium hydroxide solution was then used to make up this solution, not a solution, this lotion up to the 40 ml, right? Up to the 40 ml. and after that you now say that your preparation was properly prepared, labeled, then dispensed, right? So I told you from the beginning that I'm not going to be writing the label for this particular product. It's something you do so that at least you show me that you're actually working. So you can see the direction here is already interpreted for you. So all you just have to do is write out the label and just put this direction at the way it is here. And let me add that the auxiliary label for lotion is for external use only. So once, I'm not going to write the entire label for you, but let me just write the auxiliary label. Now for the auxiliary label here, what you write is for external use only. So with that, we are done with this question. Okay, over to this next question. Now, before going into this question, I really want to bring to your attention that once you get to the lab, you will not necessarily have the luxury of time to be going over this as slow as possible. Now, if you look at this prescription, this is all you need for your label, right? You don't need the working formula after we might have solved to write your label. So the first thing in lab you do in lab is to write your label, right? Write your label and interpret this direction. This is 5 ml to be taken 3 times daily after meal. So it's your responsibility, and it's important for you to learn how to interpret these Latin words. They are going to be given to you a lot, so it's for you to learn how to interpret them. So over to this calculation. And before that, I would want to say that there are certain questions that might require you to find the uses of any of these APIs, right? Any of these excipients. You know that this sulfur-thiazole, they might ask you what's the use of this succinyl sulfur-thiazole in the solution or in the preparation. So what you do here, this is where your codex comes really important. So you check up this succinyl sulfur-thiazole there in your codex and go to the particular page where it is in your codex, and you find the uses of it there. So solving this question, remember what we said. The next thing we do here is to get our multiplication factor. I'm sorry, this chloroform water said it's 50 ml. Chloroform water to 50 ml. So to get our multiplication factor, it said it's the amount sent divided by the amount given. So the amount sent, so we should send 40 ml. Dividing that by 50, we have 0.8. Recall again that multiplication factor has no units because mil here is cancelling out the mil here, right? So multiplication factor has no units. So the next point we go is to get our working formula, and now succinyl sulfur-thiazole, multiply the amount given here, multiply by the multiplication factor, which is 0.8, which gives us 4 grams. Benzoic acid solution, 1 ml multiplied by 0.8 ml. Concentrated anise water, 0.5 multiplied by 0.8, so 0.4 ml. Chloroform water, this is now your vehicle. Remember, chloroform water, making it up to 50 ml multiplied by 0.8, now give us 40 ml. Right? Remember that this is succinyl sulfur-thiazole, and if you remember about the examples of the non-readily diffusible powder, I told you that succinyl sulfur-thiazole is an example of a non-readily diffusible API, and because it is non-readily diffusible, we would use a suspending agent. Remember, we told you that we're going to be using compound tragacanth, which has a composition of 2%. So compound tragacanth This 2%. 2% meaning 2 gram is in 100 ml. So how many gram do we need for a suspension of 40 ml? So we cross multiply x is equals to 2 multiplied by 40, which is 80 divided by 100. 80 divided by 100 gives us 0.8 gram of compound tragacanth. So like we've seen here, and for we talk about the preparation, first of all, the first thing you're going to be doing is to tar your dispensing bottle at 40 ml, because we were asked to send 40, is to tar your dispensing bottle at 40 ml. Then you now say that 0.8 gram of compound tragacanth and 4 gram of succinyl sulfathiazole was weighed into a mortar and titurated till a homogeneous mixture was obtained. Then you now say that a little quantity of chloroform water was now added into the mixture in the mortar to make a pourable paste. This pourable paste is now you now pour this pourable paste into the dispensing bottle, and now use a little quantity of water to rinse the mortar into the dispensing bottle too. And benzoic acid solution and concani solution, they are liquid, so all you do is to just measure them directly into the dispensing bottle. And after this, you now say the product was properly prepared, labeled, and dispensed. Now we are going to talk about our label. Remember, I told you that the first thing you do in the practical exam is to get your label, to write out your label. And it's important for you to know the interpretation of the direction that the question tells you to give. So we are going to write the label. Let me write it here. You write the suspension, and you write the volume you sent, which is 40 ml. Then I'll be abbreviating this succinyl sulfathiazole. I remember what I told you about writing the label. You just need the original formula that was given to you. 5 gram benzoic acid solution, 1 ml concentrated anise water, 0.5 ml chloroform water to make 50 ml. Now write our direction. And this direction tells, it's an interpretation of this Latin words, which means 5 ml spoonful to be taken 3 times daily after meal. Here is your name, then your reg number, your next is address. Like I told you in the previous video, it's Department of Pharmaceutics, UNN. Then the date. Now, like I told you, the auxiliary label for suspension, because even if the API we used is a non-readily diffusible powder and we used a suspending agent, after a while, the API usually gets sedimented to the bottom of the container, so we write shake before use. I think it's fine. So over to the next question.